Do you believe in magic?
Bitch, I am magic.
I'm pretty sure unicorns don't sound like goats. Oh, too many hats? Hair is a mess. The f am I wearing today? I look 12. Witch hat? This hat. Hey, because it's a witch hat. Get it? Hello and welcome back to Idea 6, where we take an analytical lens to mysticism and spirituality. My name is Kiara, the Mad Witch, and today we are answering the question, does everyone have psychic abilities? Here's the short version. Like a lot of things in life, some people appear to be predisposed. They can just tune in more easily. They have a certain knack for it, but that's not to say that anyone can't learn. I really do think that anyone can learn to be more intuitive and to tap into these abilities and to make it a practice. Kind of like how I'm 5'2", right? I'm never gonna dunk anything.
Oh my God! Wow!
In my entire life. But if I really wanted to, I could probably learn how to dribble and make it into the hoopy thing if I gave a I just never played ball sports. Like I was always terrible at them, probably because I have the hand-eye coordination of a carrot, and carrots don't have hands or eyes. So some people are predisposed to psychic abilities. P.S. If you don't believe in psychic anything, you're obviously watching the wrong video. Watch that one instead. If you do believe in psychic anything or psychic everything, you may be wondering, why me? Or you may be wondering, why not me? And in this video, we are going to seek to answer both. And we're going to do this by looking at the spirituality and the science, as we do here. So the sort of witchy occult take on psychic abilities and how they develop, and also the scientific research being done. Like in labs, guys. This stuff is real. It's wild. We're going to be looking at that too. The possible genes behind psi. As in genetics, not as in Levi's. Yes, to be psychic, you must have magical pants. Hunkety junkety. All up in this trunkety. I'm not even wearing pants. I'm in a dress today. We rise up from the dust and clear my throat. Do you want to start with the science or the magic? I can't hear you, so I'm going to pick. We're going to start with the science because, as usual, the ancient esoteric secrets will reveal so much more. Oh, science, I love you dearly, you young spring chicken, but you have much to learn, and you think you know everything. Yes, arrogant, as only youth can be. I digress. Some sciences are attempting to bridge science and the experience of psychicness, and perhaps most notably is the Institute of Noetic Sciences. They are leading researchers in non-local consciousness, and they've kind of done their initial foray into the genetics of psychic abilities and have published some of their findings. And I think it's pretty early into their research, but they've been kind enough to share with us. So let's hop onto my 5G brainwashing lightbox device to learn more. Historically on this channel, I've taken scientific studies and will actually pull up a study and translate it into human because it's just written in a really boring academic way. And so part of what I do on this channel is taking that stuff and making it accessible. But ions, bless their noetic little heart, they've done the work for us. And this is one of the things that I love about ions is they're leading researchers in non-local consciousness. And so they're actually out there in the field, in the labs, they're doing the work and making the magic happen. They're trying to understand this stuff. And they're also attempting to communicate it, not just to the ecosystem of skeptical scientists, right, their colleagues, but also to people like you and I. And so they've got a great blog. I highly recommend that you check it out. If you like Idea Sex and the stuff we talk about, you will definitely like the Ions blog. Yeah, totally plugging for them because they're great. If you like Idea Sex, you'll love Ions. It's the science of sorcery. So anyway, I will drop a link to both the blog and the formal study below, but we're just going to cut right into the juicy bits here. DNA comes in two parts, portions that code for proteins called the exons and portions between the coding genes that do not code for proteins called the introns. Until quite recently, it was believed that introns were less important than exons because our bodies are made of proteins. Thus, in spite of the fact that introns are about 97% DNA, they used to be referred to as junk DNA. Today, we know that introns are important because introns control how genes are expressed. In our study, we did not find any difference in the exons between psychics and non-psychics. However, we did find that one section of the introns differed. The psychics had one section of their non-coding DNA that was conserved, also called wild type. Wild type means that the DNA sequence was the original version and it was not the mutation or variant. So because the sequence was an intron, this means that it does not code for a protein, but instead regulates the activity levels of neighboring genes. And this particular intron is next to a coding region that produces proteins that are highly expressed in the brain. Equally interesting are the sociogenetic factors relating to the expression of this intron sequence. We found that the spread of Christianity was related to the prevalence of the wild type versus mutated version of non-coding sequence.
Ah, yes. No, that sentence.
Why would that be? Why would that be? Well, it echoes with something that Russell Targ, the award-winning laser physicist, said in regards to... I didn't even say physicist, I was like... It echoes with something that Russell Targ, the award-winning laser physicist, said in regards to psychic abilities, which is that the most psychic countries in the world are the ones that did not have witch hunts. And if you've seen my video, The Truth About Witchcraft, you know exactly what this is getting at, but I'll just summarize it. Actually, you should go watch it. It's only 10 minutes long. I'll even link it for you right there. But to summarize that video, the gist is this, that as Christianity came to power, specifically like the influence of the church, right? Intuitives were hunted and killed as witches. But like, why did they do that? Are all intuitives witches? Are all psychics witches? Well, it's kind of like asking if a hot dog is a sandwich.
Is it?
Throughout history, in cultures all over the world, these types of people have existed. We have the people with the power, we call them witches, and the people with the sight or the second sight, and we call them psychics. The power and the sight are really two sides of the same coin, and we talked about this in the last video, this idea that the power is the influence of subtle energy, right? And so that looks like spellcasting. That looks most commonly like the law of attraction, which is how lots of people practice the power today. So if you've ever gotten into manifesting, you have the power. The sight, on the other hand, refers to the perception of subtle energy. And this means any of our psychic abilities, our clairvoyance, whatever form it takes for us, it is the perception of subtle energy. The thing about the power and the sight is they go together really fucking well, okay? They're like, it's like meat between buns. Phrasing? Is it a hot dog? Is it a sandwich? Who gives a right? I just want it in me. But the real question is, do we all already have the size sandwich inside of us? Getting philosophical here. One line of thought is that our physical bodies are actually just an outgrowth of our astral or spiritual bodies. And this kind of makes sense given that science is finally catching up to the idea that consciousness might be fundamental. You think, guys? So just like we have our 5 senses, we hypothetically have their astral counterparts and then some. In other words, Psychic Witch by Matt Oren, we still have a whole system of perception that has only gone dormant in our species, but is there, still there, waiting to reawaken. Great Awakening? Anybody? It's not just political. The politics are the tip of a big ass iceberg. What the Great Awakening is actually about, what it is mostly about, is remembering what we are a part of, what we are here to do, and what we are capable of. This legendary time, this prophesied time that we are living through, is what Ingo Swann called the Psychic Revolution. And Ingo, like Matt, and indeed everyone I've ever met, read, studied, listened to, that is a psychic and not just a scientist studying psychics, they've all said the same thing, which is that we all have these abilities, and some people are just able to more naturally tune into them than other people. That being said, right, you can cultivate these things if you're interested. And so one of the things I'm going to be doing in the near future is going out to Sedona and interviewing psychic people, asking them, well, how can we be more psychic? How can we get more in touch with this thing that exists? So what do you think? Have I convinced you that you're a psychic? Tell me in the comments. And in any case, thank you so much for having idea sex with me today. Hail to the power in the sights. And until next time, I hope you stay very, very blessed. The question, does everyone have... Yeah, I just broke that. God damn it. What have you done? I've made a mess. I had to stop filming because some woman just invited me to, I don't want to show you where I live, internet. Just invited me to the Christmas potluck, but I think she may have heard some of what was taking place. I get very loud and really leaning into the characters, and sometimes I cackle, and I don't know how much she heard, but when I opened the door, she was shaking. I don't know if it's because she was old or if it's because of what she heard. Am I scary? I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'm not even sure she wanted to invite me at that point, but she was on my doorstep and had this flyer, and she's like, oh, I gotta commit. Please don't come. I love potlucks. I'll be there.